Let's get the key in there, under that super unleaded. So 16 litre tank, and it's empty. So let's put some fuel in. Yeah, voila. Job done. 13.3. Hello folks, and welcome to the channel. It is a glorious day out today. It's the early part of December 2022. The sun is out, the sky is nice and blue, but the temperature is 7 degrees centigrade. And today you find me on this brand new, courtesy of the Mansell Collection and good old Darren and Tony for letting me demo this bike. So courtesy of the Mansell Collection, this is the MV Agusta Brutale 1000 RS. I'm going to say less expensive model. So this costs, if you sat down, this will set you back around £23,000. Yep, £23,000. And if you want to go for the all singing, all dancing electronic suspension version with some lighter wheels and a bit more carbon fibre, and I think maybe the bars are slightly lower, possibly, I'm not sure, than the 1000 RR version. I think R stands for race. Well, that will set you back, sit down and gulp twice or whatever, £29,000. So not a cheap bike, but the quality is very, very nice. So this is the 1000 RS. So it's only done 12 miles, and I've put about 9 of those miles on the bike so far. Just been down to put some juice in the bike because it didn't have any in it. So we've got a 16 litre tank, which should give you, before you've got to push it, about a range of, I don't know, something like 150 miles if you believe all the gumph that the manufacturers give you. So 16 litre tank. Specs wise on the engine, well, you're looking at 208 horsepower. So 208 horsepower from an inline 4. So it's, I'm going to say, I think this is the most powerful bike that I've ever been on actually, and the view is pretty nice. So this is, yeah, this is definitely the most powerful bike that I have ever been on. I had a Honda Fireblade a few years ago. That was about 167 horsepower at the back wheel, and that was tuned. Did quite a few track days on that. So I'm actually used to powerful bikes, but this 1000 RS Brutale, and Brutale is Italian for brutal, I've got to say, I think it's the kind of bike that you've just got to grab it by the scruff of the neck and tell it who's the boss, really. Because I jumped on it and I did actually find it a little bit intimidating. I guess the price might have had something to do with that, and that if I dropped on, I got to pay for it, especially on a cold day with new tyres and, well, just a brand new bike. So 208 horsepower. Yeah, it's extremely rapid. Now all the spiel from MV Agusta themselves say it will do in excess of 186 miles an hour. Yeah, 186 miles an hour. So it's a pretty rapid machine. So what do you get for your money then? So you get a bike that weighs dry 186 kilograms, produces 208 horsepower from that glorious inline 4-cylinder machine. You're getting Brembo Stylema brakes front and to the rear as well, so all top quality fittings and fixtures and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the bike just oozes quality generally, and we'll come to that a little bit later on. And it's, well, I think you either want to lick the bike, look at it, or go out and ride it like a lunatic, really. I actually want to keep my driving license for as long as I can, and something like this with 208 horsepower, boy oh boy, you're going to have to be so careful. In fact, with all these super nakeds sort of pumping out crazy horsepower, yeah, unless you're going to use these on the track, I really got to question why you want to have one for the road. unless you just want to use it for a sunny day and it's your fair weather bike and you've got a load of dosh to blow, really. I can see the reason for that. But as a day-to-day bike, all these bikes, I'm not sure whether I would want to have that kind of money just as a day-to-day rider. It would more than likely be a, oh, the sun's up, let's go for a ride kind of bike. So we've got this little TFT screen in front of me, not sure if you can see it. That's a 5.5 inch display. It's got pretty much everything on there, and you might notice that it's not attached to sort of normal TFTs are attached to, let's put it into first gear, are attached to the handlebars. This is attached by a mount to the actual front of the tank itself, so that's slightly unusual. And then sat beneath that you have the electronics Olin steering damper, which is common to this one and the full fat £29,000 bike. It's obviously not set up for me, it's set up for Joe Average as it comes out the factory, so it is a firm ride, but it's not too uncomfortable at all, really. And the seat is, I'm going to say, just on the firm and supportive side. Definitely not made for taking, oh, it sounds lovely, definitely not made for taking a pillion passenger, although there's something that resembles a rear pillion seat on the back. And the trouble is, I just want to absolutely cane it. So this is something, this kind of bike, I'm sort of used to it, the naked kind of bikes with my KTM, but I'm certainly not used to this 208 horsepower, and as I said earlier, it is a little bit intimidating. I'm just an average kind of rider. Got all the electronic wizardry that comes with it, IMUs and all that kind of stuff, various modes. So I've got it in the moment sport mode, and if I just dethrottle, and I'll have rain mode, race mode, see what race mode is like. So there we go, stop flashing. So we're now in race mode. You've got the RPMs at the bottom here, speed, and then gear in the top. And this display, I don't know if you can change the display, but the revs start at 3,000. You've got the time at the top there, outside air temperature gauge, total mileage, trip mileage, and I guess 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's how long I've been riding. And then the fuel gauge down at the bottom. Cruise control as well, but there's no heated grips, which is a shame, really. A bike of this price, I'd like to have seen heated grips for the days that you're going out and it might be a little bit chilly. But weight wise, 186 kilos dry, you don't really notice the weight on all these bikes. I'm 5'9", and it fits me quite nicely, actually. Haven't got too much weight on the wrists. I mean, all these naked bikes, they basically want to put you over the front wheel, don't they? So that 4-cylinder 208 horsepower motor then, so top gear, roll on, that's full throttle there, full throttle. So it takes a while to get going, and then above 5,000 revs it gets going a little bit quicker. But I think it's the kind of bike you just got to rev the knackers out of it to get the most fun, and I don't want to get done for speeding, actually. Traction wise, there you go, top gear. Yeah, it hasn't got as much pull as even my KTM 890R, actually, or maybe the other big super naked bikes. But like all these things, everybody's got different choices, preferences, what they like, you know. But this bike is a stunning looking machine. Yeah, there's just no effort in turning this thing at all. It just turns on a sixpence. I've got diddy hands, both the clutch and the front brake are adjustable, and yeah, I've got a nice setup on this, actually. So yeah, with my diddy hands I can operate the Brembo brake and clutch lever fine. The brakes, the bike's brand new. I'm used to the Stylema brakes. I've got them on the KTM, so nothing unusual there. Just a good set of brakes. Only thing I noticed, I haven't got very big feet, but the actual gear shift, yeah, not much space to get the foot in there. But again, all these things, like all the second-hand bikes or brand new bikes, when you get them at home, you just got to twiddle with them and get them to fit you. And a lot of people don't bother, which I find really bizarre. sound wise. Yeah, it just wants to go, doesn't it? It sounds very nice, I've got to say, it does sound very nice. Good indication, madam, well done. So the engine itself, not a massive amount happens below 5, and then it gets into its stride, the exhaust note changes, and then it starts to get angry. But handling, yeah, it just goes where you think it wants, where you want it to go by thinking about it. Don't actually have to steer the thing. It's like telepathic. The good thing about all these bikes now with so much power is you've got a comprehensive electronics kit looking after you, and man, I wouldn't actually turn anything off. I'm in race mode at the moment, and that's about all I would do. And you can customize all these things, but I would leave it in race or sport mode, which I guess sport mode would be for day-to-day use on the road. You need all the electronics just to look after you, because that is a lot of horsepower-y stuff. So 208 horsepower, quick shifter, electronic, works fairly nicely. What more is there to want out on a bike on a sunny day? A bike that sounds really, really nice with those standard cans on. Yeah, it does sound very nice. And a little bit of a pop burble there. You can tell the suspension's just set up for one thing, and that is pretty much going fast. And waving goodbye to your driving licence. Just grab by the scruff of the neck and show it who's boss. So it's got launch control, but I'm not going to use that. Warranty point of view, it has got a 3 years warranty, like most bikes now, and 2 years roadside assistance. It just wants you to wring its neck, like I say, lick it, look at it, or ride it like a lunatic. Take your pick. But this thing, I think it just wants to be ridden very fast to get the best out of it. Keys behind here. Right, recording. Yeah. Wow, she just wants to go. Oh, roadworks again. Oh. So I'm 5'9", and I can definitely flat foot this bike, so it's not a problem. And the side stand, it's a bit of a swing forward, and there we go. Let's have a look. We'll come look at the Brutale 1000 RS. Okay, go on in. Woohoo! Right, let's go and have a look at this Brutale. So this is where it would need to go. It's down here, I think, if I got one of those. It'd look very nice in here, wouldn't it? Very nice in here. So there she is in the Brutale 1000 RS. That's just one of my dogs, don't worry about that. So let's have a close look at it. So from the front of the bike then, we've got these gorgeous Brembo stylemas, the Marzocchi shocks, and then yeah, it's just very nicely finished off. Nice bit of trellis framing along here, and all these engine cases as well. Just looks very pretty. Obviously the designers have spent a little bit of time in it just to get it aesthetically pleasing for the eye. Those gorgeous exhausts, very pretty. And if you want to carry a pillion on here, on this seat, good luck to you. You should have to be quite petite. There we go. And her legs will be up round your neck somewhere, I suspect. But yeah, very nice looking bike. So yeah, I think that would look very nice in my hallway actually. Very nice. Very nicely finished. MV Agusta, looks very pretty. Got those Diablo Super Corsa tyres, but it's only 7 degrees, so I can't really get much heat into them. There's a little bit of heat there. Coming to the back of the bike. Yeah, not too sure if I like this kind of thing here. Certainly very pretty around here, the way you can look up there. Yeah, very nice, very nice. All these little details. MV. Yeah, the seat is pretty comfy actually, firm but comfortable. I've got no aches and pains after the hour or so that I've been riding it. Key at the front here, so you've got to reach over, but that's not too much of a problem. What have we got here? Light switches. That's the only thing that lets it down, I think, a little bit. It's just the switchgear control. That would be my only gripe, certainly on this part here. Just doesn't look premium like the rest of the stuff. Other than that, you've got the electronic Öhlins steering damper, which is the same for this one and the full fat version. Look at that, Brutale 1000 RS. No electronic key to concern yourself about. I quite like the electronic key stuff, but yeah, everywhere you look it's just beautifully finished. Very nice. So on the shock then, you've got the progressive Sachs shock, all the necessary adjustments that you need on there. Yeah, just a very pretty bike. There we go. It's not a bad shot, is it? There it is, folks. That is a very pretty bike, and I have to say 208 horsepower. I think that's going to be a little bit above my pay grade, but it would certainly look nice in my hallway, definitely, and I'll just polish it forever and a day. But beautifully put together. Yeah, very impressive bit of kit actually. So it'd be interesting to try the smaller version of that, whatever cc that is, the triple. That'd be quite interesting, but that is definitely a little bit above what I could ride whilst trying to keep hold of my driving licence, I think. So folks, it is a very nice bit of kit. So I think without further ado, let's take it back to the showroom. So as we make our way back to the Mansell Collection to drop the bike off, what are my thoughts on the bike? Well, I think it's a very nicely put together machine. It's a bike that really you've got to take it on a racetrack, folks. With that 208 horsepower, I think it's a little bit wasted on the road, if I'm being perfectly honest. You know, up to 5,000 revs, yeah, it's okay, but above 5,000 revs the exhaust note just starts to change a little bit, and then you know what this bike is all about. And then when you get to approaching the 7,000 revs, that's when you get into the lunatic area, and it just wants to fly basically. So yeah, that's the licensing losing area as far as I'm concerned. But manners on the road, I've had it now for a couple of hours and it's been very pleasant to ride. Very pleasant. Although it's got a quick shifter because it's a new bike and I'm riding sort of about 3,000 revs half the time, I just want to be a little bit caring with the engine and the gearbox, so hence using the clutch. But yeah, 7,000 revs plus, and it goes round to 13,000 revs. Man oh man, you're going to have to be hanging on for dear life there. But it is interesting. Some people prefer the peak power of the 4-stroke engine. Some people like the twins, Super Dukes, etc., and they prefer the low down torque. But yeah, it all depends what kind of flavour you want to lick, I guess. For me, yeah, if I was taking this on the racetrack, or I lived near a racetrack, I'd be a happy bunny, and I'd be spending 100 quid every weekend taking this around the track and absolutely thrashing it. My bum is just starting to ache a little bit after a couple of hours, but no pain in the knees, the wrists are fine. It is a slightly leant forward stance, but it is a naked bike after all. The mirrors are good. The quick shifter, it's a new engine, I think it just needs bedding in a little bit, and I just would more than likely just take a spanner and just adjust the quick shifter or the gear shift pedal, just so I can make it a bit easier for changing the gear. I think it's just a little bit on the low side for me. Brakes are really good, bearing in mind the bike's only done 34 miles. It's got a lovely soundtrack. You know, everybody likes different flavours of bikes. 208 horsepower, I think that's a little bit too much for me, because those blokes over there, that's the police headquarters, I think they'd be actually taking my licence from me pretty quickly actually, because this bike just wants to absolutely fly. So yeah, a little bit too much for me, I think, if I'm being perfectly honest. I've really enjoyed my time on this MV Agusta 1000 RS Brutale. And thank you very much to the Mansell Collection. What a stunning machine. and it scares the crap out of me, if I'm to be honest. There we go. N for neutral. Very nice. And reach around for the key. Bye bye.